Welcome to the show, What is a Little Girl Supposed to Do? The show is about survival, perseverance, and redemption. Welcome to What is a Little Girl Supposed to Do? It's about survival, perseverance, and redemption. Today, our topic will be some of the causes of mental illness. So we just wanted to speak on that, and I have my lovely guest here with me today. Her name is Rahana Bear, and she can introduce herself to you, give us a background of what she loves to do.
Hi there. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to come on and join Belinda today to talk about a little bit about mental illness, self-care, and some causes, and maybe some tools we could use to, help people in any way, shape, or form. And so my background is I've worked in social services most of my life, and my bachelor's degree is in human development, and I'm working on a master's in counseling right now. And so, I primarily worked with people with mental health issues. I've delved in the addiction realm a little bit, and then worked with adolescents all the way to elders. So I've, had different age ranges of populations I worked with. And so it's something I'm very passionate about and wanting to help people who are struggling with any of those kind of issues. And so I wanted to be here today to join Belinda.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Rahana, I appreciate you. I've learned a lot from you, and you're amazing.
Thank you.
You are amazing, and I love you, and we're going to be good. We have so many things in common.
Yeah.
And it's just like I've known you all my life.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just, you just want to help people and help people heal.
Yes.
And I think that that's just the main narrative. And when you feel that with somebody else, it's, it's kind of a blessing.
Yes.
Sometimes it doesn't always seem like that when you walk out the door every day.
You're right.
It seems like a harsh world sometimes.
You're
and actually, we have, a plethora of beauty in the world and healing. And I think finding that in another person is a blessing.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And so what our hot topic today is, we will talk about Simone Biles, the Olympian. I read a story about 2 weeks ago. She was on the cover of the New York magazine. Mm-hmm. And the story was she had to take care of herself, her own mental health, because there were things that had been going on in her life that she tried to deal with on her own. And it finally came out that the doctor for the Olympians was having sexual, doing things that he wasn't supposed to do. And it was quiet. No one talked about it. Mm-hmm. And she was trying to deal with this on her own. And so during the Olympics, she had to step down or step back or decide that she wasn't going to be able to continue because of what was going on. It wasn't physical. It was mental.
Mm-hmm. And nobody knew she was going through that.
No one knew she was going through it. And so it's a tough thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's been in the limelight since she's, been, I think, even before adolescence, when she was a little kid.
Yes.
And so the pressure put on her just to be able to be stable, to be in the limelight at that time.
Yes.
And then add the other pressure of the secrets of I don't know who held those secrets, the Olympic Committee or the Gymnastics Committee, or, her coaches knew what was going on and then kind of let that slide,
Yes.
and then her not being ready to talk about it, but then it just came out.
Yes.
And then her being expected to perform her best at one of the biggest competitions in the world,
Yes. Man. And my heart just goes out to her.
Yeah.
Because I went through some of the same things in my early age. And mine started at 5, and I'm well over. I'm considered a senior citizen now, but I believe
A wisdom keeper.
yes, and I believe that those are thoughts. I mean, those are things that you will always remember. Those are things you will never forget, but you just have to understand how to deal with it. And look at it as it's like a learning tool. Once you become an overcomer, you'll be able to help someone else.
What's some advice maybe that you can take away and offer to young women or young men, young people dealing with those kind of situations, because since you've overcome and healed from that, you probably have a plethora of knowledge to be able to offer to people who are going through that.
Yes. Well, one thing I've learned over the years was you need to talk about it. You need to tell someone instead of trying to cover it up or forget about it. You need to talk about it, because that is the beginning of your healing process.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's so important to be able to talk about it, because some of the causes that causes mental illness is not talking about what you're going through. Mental illness comes from things that has happened to you in your life that wasn't right, trauma, or even you can be in an accident, but it's trauma because it has traumatized your body. And so there's just so many things that can happen in a child's life, mentally or physically, that can bring on this mental illness. And people do not understand it. People really do not understand in a lot of ways how to deal with the mental illness.
Yeah, and that one thing that, just in learning things about the field and just, you can't really understand anyone else's experience. You can be competent in learning about, how to help them through that experience, but you'll never be able to fully understand it. And I think people get that wrong sometimes, because, everyone has their own way of dealing with things. And, say, oh, I understand what you're talking about. Well, you don't really understand what they're talking about. You might have the knowledge about what they're talking about, but listening to what they have to say is probably one of the best things people can do. When you, just to backtrack a little bit, you said talking about it.
Yes.
How did you feel when you finally were able to speak about it?
Well, when I was able to speak about it, and I can honestly say what really, truly helped me was to be able to cry. I was in a mental hospital, and I broke down, and I cried like a baby. And I had never done that in my life. I was keeping all of this to myself, but I cried. I screamed. I cried so loud. And after I cried, I can say I cried probably 10 minutes, screaming and hollering and just letting it go.
Yeah.
And then that was the beginning of my healing process.
It was like a release.
Yes, it was a release. And so I know that sometimes people don't want to cry. They say, I don't want to cry. But that's why God gave us those tears. He gave us that water inside our body to help cleanse us from the inside out. So, true. Yes. So the crying was a blessing.
I've heard in other countries that, like if you go to like a funeral here,
yes,
people are crying. They're kind of keeping it to themselves. They're putting their head down, almost shamed out of letting those emotions out.
Yes.
When that is just a natural reaction for a
Yes.
release,
Yes.
you know. Like other countries, I know people jump on top of caskets and wail and scream and let it all out, because grief is emotion that we're gonna each one of us is gonna have to go through in this lifetime.
Yes.
You know, but and those kind of releases just reminds me of something like that. You know,
Yes.
because it's such a beautiful part of healing.
Yes.
To be able to acknowledge it and release that part, and then you
Yes.
can help you move forward to the rest part of, you know, the rest of healing that
Yes.
people need to go through.
Man.
Anyways, it just reminded me of that. I just thought
No,
that was,
that's good.
death
I
is a
mean,
hard thing
yes,
to talk about, you know.
Yes, you're right. It is, but yeah, we all gonna go.
Yeah.
And we just don't
Gotta do
know-
something right while we're here.
Yeah, we don't know when or how, but yes, that's the goal, is to be the best person that you can be. Talk about it, write about it, do a journal. I mean, get some sunshine,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Those are all really good
Yes.
tools.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go out into nature, you know. It's just healing for our bodies and our minds. And we just can't stay stuck.
Yeah.
You know, and another thing is to continue to bring up the past, old things, old hurt. I mean, it's not healthy for you.
Well, it's part of your story,
Yes.
and it's going to make you who you are, and being able to move forward from those things.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So can I ask after that, what were some kind of like tools that you used in your healing journey?
I will say, actually, the tools that I used. I grew up in a very religious household. We were Christians, and my mom made sure that we believed in God and we did the right thing. So that was my strength, God. Because if you didn't have anyone else, you have God. You can speak with God and just pray and really, truly mean what you say. Ask God for help. God will help us. He knows what our needs are.
I heard one person one time say, you know, praying is talking to God or the universe, and then meditating is listening.
Yes.
And I think that's a good tool right there.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
in healing, because even if you have no one in the room to talk to, you know, you're speaking to whoever you believe your higher power is.
Yes.
You know, and that is a release in itself, as being able to speak about your experience, or even just what you went through, you know, during the day.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So that was my main healing process that I went through. I was able to cry. I was able to talk about it. I was able to pray, and I just found God inside of me, and I just started finding things to do that would make me happy. I had to think about myself and my children. I had to think about them, what was going to be best for us.
So like you found like creative outlets.
Yes. I had a hobby. I love to write. I started writing poetry, and I love taking pictures, being out in nature, just doing positive things.
Yeah.
I love cooking. I'm a good cook.
You are a good cook. She's made me food before.
Yes, I have a lot of things that I enjoy doing, and I just like making people happy. Absolutely. I just like making people happy, and I just teach being positive. Try to stay away from the negative.
Well,
because
it'll drag you down real fast.
It will drag you down, because this is my example. Just say you have a flashlight and you have two batteries inside that flashlight. One battery is good and the other one's not. But if you leave both of them together, eventually the negative one is going to pull the power from the strong one. And same with human relationships. when you're around negative people, they can definitely pull you down. And that's why your environment, our environment, and the people that we're with, it makes a big difference on how we do things and how we see things. So my thing is just try to be around as many people that's positive, that's going to help bring you up and bring the best out of you instead of, dealing with negativity, because that is not good.
Yeah, and I think mental health issues also have like a negative overlay to them.
Yes.
They're in the past they were mocked a lot more than they are now.
Yes.
People made fun of people for just and any like adverse reaction, trauma, genetics can cause a mental illness in somebody.
That's
And
right.
it's nobody's fault. Nobody is saying, hey, I want to be depressed, for the next 3 years. No one is saying that. Nobody wants that,
Yes.
and if they do, then we got something to talk about.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think that's, having someone to talk about or having someone to talk to and having that support. So it sounds like because you grew up in a religious household, you had that support of the religion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the church. So it was like the church to help you out as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Good.
So that helped a lot. And so I feel blessed to be able to still be here and to be able to talk to others to help them along the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And so if you could give advice to Simone Biles, what advice would you give her?
The advice that I would give her is I would say, congratulations, Simone. You know what you need to do for yourself. Self-preservation, there's nothing wrong with self-preservation, taking time out for yourself, for things that you want to do, and because you cannot make or keep everyone else around you happy. You have to be happy about yourself and things that you want to do. You know your body and your mind and how much you can take.
Yeah.
So self-preservation, my hat goes off to you, Simone Biles. You are amazing, and you will be very great on your journey in this life, and you are definitely a role model for others.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, yep, I appreciate you, Simone Biles, but I'm sorry that you had to go through the things that you went through at a very young age. And so everything is going to be all right. Just keep your head up and take one day at a time. And it's going to be, you're going to have an amazing life. Yes.
Do you know how old she is?
She's 24.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she's got the rest of her life ahead of her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brain's not developed till you're 25 too, so
Yes.
imagine the possibilities,
Beautiful.
in her healing journey that she can, move into.
Yes. Yes. Everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just happy that she's okay. She's going to be okay. There's no time limit on how long it's going to take to heal. But it's going to be something that you will always remember. It may be, back in your brain, stored away, but you will be okay. Everything happens for a reason, and you're going to be good.
I think that we live in a society sometimes that we want everything like instant gratification.
Yes.
And so we put timelines on stuff.
Yes.
And say, well, why isn't this working at this time? And you have to just kind of believe in that divine timing.
Yes.
And know that, like you said, everything happens for a reason at the right time.
Yes.
Yes. And it's a journey, and a process, not just, boom, bam, there it is,
You're right. A lot of people like it like microwave, how you microwave your food. It takes a minute or so. That's not like how life is. It's a process. It takes time. And Yeah, we just have to take one day at a time, and everything is going to be all right. And so it's just a blessing that she had the wisdom to know when she needed to stop.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. She knows her passion and her purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And so I would like to talk about what can we do as individuals to make mental illness, people that stressed out, that need help, what can we do as a society and as a person to help?
I think the first thing that you said was your healing is the first thing, because if we are healing ourselves, then we're able to help heal other people. And so working on ourselves is probably one of the most important things to do. It's not easy, and it's a lifelong journey. But the wisdom that comes out of it, you never know when you could walk down the street, you could say something to somebody, you could just bless them right there.
Yes.
And change their whole life or change their whole perspective on what they're trying to do.
Yes.
So I think, working on ourselves first, and then there's so many tools that are available now in the world, and we can connect with people easier than we used to be able to. I mean, when I was growing up, there was no internet and,
Yes.
stuff like that. So use those things in a positive way to connect with other people that are like-minded. Say, oh, I'm struggling with something. Find a meetup group, find a group that can support you on that journey.
Yes.
I think finding a therapist that you can relate to, that you can talk with, a trained person that, has the knowledge to be able to help you move through some of those emotions. Because when you're moving through those emotions, it affects you spiritually, it affects you mentally, it affects you emotionally, it affects you physically,
Yes.
so it goes through all aspects, of, all four of those realms. And you got to have someone there to walk you through that journey,
Yes.
and then at the same time, a psychiatrist if you need a medication support.
Yes.
Because sometimes we can't just do it on our own. Sometimes we're just like, this is a little too much.
Yes.
I need some medication support. And those things can really help people, long term, talk to someone about that long term. But that's, those are some things that I think are good too. Other tools that I think, self-care, like you said, being out in nature,
Yes.
using, I think, some of these things that we have here, like essential oils or,
Yes.
blessings, to be able to help people in different emotional ways,
Yes.
and use those as tools to make their lives better. Taking a hot bath, taking a hot shower can change your perspective just as much
Yes.
as walking around the block and looking at a tree
Yes.
and,
You're
the
right.
flowers and get
Yes.
you out of
Yes.
because we're stuck in our own heads sometimes.
Yes.
And then you turn on the TV if you see like violence or negative things going on in the world, or you look at your phone, and the news station pops up and there's this trauma and this thing going on in the world. Those aren't healthy things,
Yes.
those are things that, yes, they are going on in the world, but we have to detach from them and remember who we are at the same time as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So it is a blessing that we have people out there that really care about us and love us,
Yeah.
Unconditionally. And so I just believe that if we can help someone, because you know what? The best things in life is free. That smile, to be kind, to give a helping hand.
Absolutely.
I mean, to love. I mean, yes, we just want to try to make this earth that we're living on a much better place to be.
Yeah.
Because kindness will win. Kindness will win. And love, a smile, and to help someone that's in need, it is a must. Because I believe God just didn't put us here for our own little selfish self. He put us here to help others if we can.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything to be kind and to love, and just care, really care about other people.
Mm-hmm. So I think, giving back to organizations that can help support people, going through all different kinds of things, whatever you're passionate about, I think is another way to do it. And if you can't give your time, you can always, give money to try to help people, or whatever way you can, just by sharing your story, giving a speech and just saying, I've been through this,
Yes.
Here's my story, and you never know when you could, touch somebody in that, realm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So I am ready. I'm ready to share and to help.
Absolutely.
And to love. I mean, my mom, she was amazing. She loved people. Mm-hmm. She loved children. She was a foster mom.
Wonderful.
She was a teacher. She worked in the school district. I mean, she loved and she taught us how to love, how important it is to care about each other. Families. I mean, there's so many people out there that's hurting right now. And there's so many people that have taken their lives, during this pandemic because they felt that there was no out.
Yeah, I saw a thing on the news about the deaf community, having a really hard time during the pandemic because they read lips. And then when people wearing masks, they weren't unable to read their lips. And so they would go places sometimes and people would say like, can you pull down your mask so I can read your lips because I'm, hearing impaired. And that's something that I never would have even thought about.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And so it's the whole world has been through a huge trauma,
Yes.
Some places are coming out of it more than others. Some places are still intertwined in it. More than others as well, but we should be coming together at this time because this is my lifetime. This is, it's been a tragedy and a trauma to me.
Yes.
And so I couldn't imagine if I'm feeling that way. I'm sure everybody else is feeling that way.
Yes.
You know?
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
and so the suicide rate has gone up and.
Man.
Yeah, and that's no one should, take their life before they're meant to go.
No,
You're
right. So we would love to help as many people that we can.
Yeah.
And you can get in touch with me through, it's mydoterra.com, Mommy and Me. Contact us online, and we will be able to reach out to you and just give you some good suggestions or, talk, and everything will be all right. We just want to make a big difference on this planet.
Amen. Yeah.
We're just trying to make a big difference. We want this planet and the people that's on this planet, we want to be able to get along with each other. Love, peace, and harmony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that if anybody wants to reach out to me, my email is pandabearmagicllc at gmail.com. And my website should be going up in a couple weeks. And it's pandabearmagic.com as well. And so I've worked with Belinda, in the essential oil wellness field as well. And
yes.
so she's on her journey to move forward and really, really help people in as many ways that she can.
And it's amazing. And I just want to thank you, Rahana, for being the guest today. You are amazing.
You're amazing.
And we will be seeing much more of you. And I just want to thank you for being here today, shining your light on the problem that we're having with mental illness in our society right now. And we just want people to be aware that it's time to love each other and to do the right thing by each other. Treat your brother or sister like you want to be treated. Because I know that we have not arrived at a 100% human being until we want for our brother and sister what we want for ourselves. And if we live in a world where we care about each other and we're willing to help, we will be in a much better place.
I think so.
So thank you very much for listening and watching What is a Little Girl Supposed to Do?
Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Yeah. We appreciate all of our audience. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Thank you for tuning in to our podcast, What is a Little Girl Supposed to Do? Until next time.